Our crew is back here on the docks facing some more fishmen as they bring in reinforcements. And this time, as we dive a little bit deeper, further into the core system of ICRPG, we're going to be talking about the kinds of turns and the types of actions we can take on those turns. Now, Index Card RPG is really simple when it comes to your turn. Essentially, what you can do on your turn is take a movement and an action, and that's your full turn. So everyone gets one movement and one action. Obviously, there are items and special abilities that can kind of skew those rules, but in basic, all you have to worry about on your turn is figuring out where are you going to move and what are you going to do. So let's talk about the kinds of turns that you might take. There's 3 kinds, and so the first one is an action-only turn. That's where you are essentially just taking an action without moving. So a lot of the times, an action is considered any time that you roll the dice. So if you make a d20 roll, so say JD is coming up and attacking this fishman, he didn't have to move because he's always close and already fighting him. He made his d20 roll. That's his action, and that's the end of his turn. You don't always have to roll a dice, but it's a good rule of thumb. Maybe it's conversations, maybe it's other things, but a lot of times keeping things brief and clear, making sure everyone gets their turn, keeping that spotlight moving, it's one action. The next thing, so let's say we're going to move over to Chris, who's a little bit further. He's going to move near an action and then take an action. So a near move is essentially just, somewhere that you could get to a little few steps away. The distance is not specified in ICRPG. There's no grids if you don't want to. And so it's just kind of a rough estimate. And so he's just going to move a little, get maybe into a better position, and then take an action, which would be, say, another spell. So he's going to try to roll to cast. He's going to be able to cast that spell and, say, smash this fish with some lightning. Then after that, the last thing is the move far. This is kind of considered a dash. This is where you forego your action to move twice as far as you could normally. So say on a normal move, moving near, Drew could get to about here, but say he wanted to dash all the way across and kind of skirt around, he could come all the way over here to this side with a dash, but because he moved so far, spent his entire turn running, he isn't able to take an action. But he's now in better position and maybe be able to flank or pull away some of these fishmen into a different or better position. Now those are the types of actions and the types of turns you can take, but when it comes to the specifics of the action, let's look at the 3 different kinds. The 3 different types of actions that you can take is simple actions, checks, and attempts. So a simple action is something that you don't actually need to roll. It's an auto success. It's something that we don't need to see whether or not it fails. Like, there's no question. So for example, if Sarah over here saw a chest or saw, a bottle that she needed to pick up, she can run over there and pick it up. There's no need to roll to see, can I pick up this bottle? It's like, no, you totally can. Just take your action, grab it, and you're good to go. Don't roll. But say, Alex here wants to attack this fishman. There is a question, are you going to hit or are you going to miss? So he rolls his d20 plus his stat bonus, and he tries to meet or beat the target. Our target is 12. So as long as Alex rolls at least a 12, including his bonus, or higher, then the check is successful, and he gets to then succeed at whatever he's doing, whether it's an attack or a grapple or whatever. Then the last thing is an attempt. It's very similar to a check where you have to roll to meet or beat the target, but then it's rolling for effort. You're dealing some kind of effort to the task at hand. An attack is an attempt. You're attempting to attack and then roll effort. So you make a check to meet or beat the target, and then you roll effort. So for Alex's case, he rolls that d20. He misses, so he doesn't get to roll effort. But if he rolls again, perhaps he can get better. And then he's going to roll effort, which would be like his weapon effort. He rolls his weapon bonus, which is 6, or he's 6 plus his weapon effort, and he deals that effort to the task at hand, which is killing this fishman. The last one is that you could feasibly have a 4th type of action, which is very similar to a simple action, which is essentially just don't need to make a check to roll effort. you just go straight to rolling effort. And that is in the community kind of considered an effort roll. So like if you're trying to lift up a manhole cover or, push open a door, it's a heart worth of effort to break through that locked door, but we don't need to see if you can do it. We need to see how well you do it. So you don't roll to see if you can, you just go straight to rolling effort, and hopefully you roll high enough to start pushing through and breaking down that door. And that's the types of turns and actions. Now let's move on and we'll talk about the target next and how that plays into ICRPG and how it really simplifies kind of the difficulty rating or the challenge that you have to do when running a simple game of ICRPG.